And in related news, in another poll of WROC meteorologists, the #1 stressor of the holidays is going to end up being the high wind over the course of the next few days. That is going to be our issue into Saturday, but not tonight. And that is the great conundrum of the trade-off here. Wind actually helps keep the temperatures warmer, mixes the air up. When the winds die down, the wind chill isn't as bad, but the cold air is allowed to pool and settle at the surface, and that's what drops us now to 27 degrees. Southwest flow at 6 miles an hour, almost due south by the time you wake up tomorrow, which bumps the numbers up maybe a few degrees. 6 to 7 o'clock, widespread sub-freezing conditions. But once that sun comes up, pretty quick melting away of anything that's going to be frozen or ice related on the grass. We should have no trouble getting into the 40s, maybe even close to 50 by midnight tomorrow night. Satellite and radar, partly cloudy skies. The lake effect snow machines have effectively now shut down now that those winds are turning southerly. That's the best way to flip that switch from on to off. Well off to our west, strip of snowfall looks kind of innocuous, not that big of a deal. A sign of our next developing storm system, though, that will be a big deal into Saturday. Now, kiddos at the bus stop, 20s if it's really early in the morning. Most of you after about 8 a.m. I would figure the number should be in the 30s by that point. Mix of clouds and sunshine, maybe more of a lean toward the clouds, but still some leftover rays of sun into the afternoon. High temperatures jumping into the middle 40s. So there's future view. You know the drill with this. Temps there in white. That is your wind chill in pink. Wind chill much less relevant tomorrow afternoon. And then the winds become much more of a story. Yet again, on the increase here going into Friday night through Saturday morning. This time around, because you got all the warm air, we care very little about the wind chill component of this. This is more, what will the velocity of that wind be? And we've got these wind watches that are in effect, I think, from Saturday morning all the way through the evening. I'm going to fine-tune that a little bit more here. My biggest time frame that I want to watch out of this is going to be around lunchtime. This is the cold front. And the issue that we get in western New York with these cold fronts, you can get some wind with that, but behind the cold front is cold air, and that cold air is dense, it is heavy, it wants to rush toward the ground. So there's a higher propensity for this low-level jet stream that's several hundred or several thousand feet above us to come crashing down to the surface. That is where we can run into issues here. And we know through history, through climatology, the issues tend to favor areas west of Rochester. Within the corridor of Buffalo to Batavia to the west side, it is plausible we could see some 60, maybe even a few 65-mile-an-hour wind gusts, which for us, this is not a high-end wind event. This is not going to go down in history, anything like that. But with numbers like that, we typically have to deal with scattered power outages. And scattered in some cases could be several thousand outages. That's not impossible here. But it's only going to be Saturday. Winds will then start to subside into Sunday. We lose a good 10 to 15 degrees in the high temperature department, but Sunday is, I would argue, the better day to be outside. Certainly the less windy day to be outside. Starting early next week, more 40s, and then toward the end of the week, could that be the first sign that we have seen of winter, and not just like 1 or 2 days of winter? I think it might be. We shall see.